Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, January 31st, 2020. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We're a couple of days here post FOMC announcement here, and you can see right there, there's where the FOMC key level is, 32.86.5. We took it offered, then we came back, roaring back strong yesterday with a bullish outside reversal. By the end of the day, the close closed above the previous day's high, low is below the low. That's a bullish outside reversal in addition to the size of the day's range compared to the average. Very, very bullish day. And it reminds me a lot of this day here, just before it pushed higher. And right now we're seeing a midpoint retest at that midpoint of yesterday's session here with a shot to push higher. And again, we do have very clear highs that have come in across these highs. You can see right here, that's 3-day highs right now, 2-day highs at least, with today's making it 3. But again, if it can start to push through 3,300 here, it opens up a clear path back toward recent highs and perhaps through them. Now we do have a narrow 5-day range that's starting to develop here, and that narrow range could lead to expansion at some point in either direction. So if it comes up here and it rejects, that could be an indication that we're going to slingshot the other way and break to the downside. So keep an eye on 3,300 here, as it's a very important level. The midpoint right here is very important today. That's 67.5. If the bulls can keep that bid there, that would suggest more upside ahead. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. Very similar price action for the NQ, but with regards to the FOMC key level, price is above it now. You can see here, price went offered yesterday, bullish outside day, very bullish like this one here. A little pullback in overnight and pre-market trading here that's now bounced back a bit, and again the expectation is that this thing explodes to the upside. That's what we talked about when we got back here this week. Off of this rejection, we talked about the rounded bottom here. Now a failed low could turn into an outside day up. This is how we've been following in the trading room, and again that would suggest more upside ahead in the near term, unless it can't hold above 9,100. That would be an early indication of at least weakness that could shake this thing down. Again, one last thing is last trading day of the month today. Next week we begin February, and again we have a higher value relationship that's developed, and any pullback into that zone could be a very good buying opportunity early next month, pending the close of today's session. Okay, let's take a look now at crude oil. You'll see here with crude, this one flushed yesterday, dropped down to new lows, got as low as 51.66, and today here has a failed high above the FOMC key level of 53.15 and is now pulling back and is currently below the previous session's midpoint. So right here, this could seem to look like, you know, kind of a rejection, a lower low failure here, which could kind of slingshot things higher. If that were to be the case, it really needs to keep above the midpoint for the day, or at least that low right there, and it's kind of right there in that zone right now. So it could certainly bounce back here. Today's going to be very important, but as I've mentioned before, it still could get a little bit lower here before we find some major rejection. 51.19, 51.20, that's about as low as we've been getting before we've turned around here. We got that low, we got lows, 2 lows below there, this one's below it, that one touched it, very close, and we're quite a bit above it right now. So it still appears that if we flushed a little bit more here, that could provide a much better entry opportunity for a shot at reversing back toward the center of this large range, which is 57.28. And then perhaps down the road an opportunity to get back toward the highs. It's been up there 3 times over the course of the last less than a year, and we've bounced off of this zone here over the course of the last 13 months. So again, we'll see how it plays out here as this thing approaches that zone of support. Okay, let's take a look now at gold futures. Now with gold, we're trading 1584s right now. Again, this one is still holding above 1570 and that 1565 breakout point here. We talked about this kind of rounded behavior here. Again, a fairly narrow range here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of compression here, and again that would suggest that we could be looking at more expansion ahead. The overall trend right now suggests up, and it appears like it's only a few days away from seeing something like that, where we see some big breakout move here. Now again, keep an eye on that 1565. Any failure to hold that level would then rotate this thing back toward recent lows and perhaps a test back toward 1525. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the session. Happy Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.